Afro Tales podcast is a part of the Connected Podcast Network. Ahoy, my friends. Welcome aboard the Afro Tales podcast. I'm your storyteller, Amon Mazingo. Join me as we explore the tales that grew from the people of Indigenous and African descent in the Americas and the Caribbean. After, come and see me, chef, who will impart upon you a recipe for the story you have just heard. So with no further ado, let us set sail on this new age of exploration. Otoonah, a Sugpiaq tale. In those days, there was a Sugpiaq family. The parents, 2 brothers and a sister, who lived in a village near the ocean. Summer was nearly at end, and the bitter winter was coming soon. For one family, the hunting had been especially bad. They found few edible plants and berries to store, and they had fewer fish and eggs to bury in the ground where they wouldn't spoil. One day, the brothers sent their younger sister to gather driftwood from the beach near the family's sod house. While she was gone, the older brother, Otoonah, said to his parents, There is not enough food for 5 people. We must send our sister away. She is weak and does not hunt. If she eats our food, soon my brother and I will grow too weak to hunt. Then we will all starve. Next, the younger brother, Luke, said, 4 can live when 5 cannot. We will row our sister across the sea to one of the islands and leave her there. Sadly, the parents agreed to this. When the girl, Otoonah, returned with an armful of wood, her brothers told her what they had decided. Appa? Father? Akka? Mother? The wretched girl cried. But her parents turned away, would not look at her. Then her brother put her in the family's large sealskin boat and rowed her to an island below the horizon. There they left her with only the poorest caribou hide that the family owned and flints to start a fire. For a long time, she did nothing but sob. All the time she stared in the direction where the sun rises and imagined she could see traces of the mainland. Over and over, she sang, Oh, poor me. Oh, unhappy daughter. So sad am I, so sad, and so long. Finally, her hunger grew too much to bear. She gathered seaweed from the shore to eat. Then, piling up stones, she made herself a tiny hut. She wrapped herself in the skin. At night, when she woke, she ate more seaweed. But she grew weaker and weaker. Then, one night in her makeshift shelter of stones, an old man came to her in a dream. Walk to the west until you find a broad, swift-flowing stream beside sweet berry bushes. Drink 2 times from the water, but do not drink again, and do not eat even 1 berry. But you will find there one other thing that you can take away with you. She awoke soon after this and walked for a long time over the stony ground until she found the broad, swift-flowing stream bordered with berry bushes. Kneeling, she cupped her hands and drank. The first time she sipped the water, she felt her strength return. The second time, she felt herself growing stronger still. Although she was still thirsty and hungry, she did as the old man in the dream had told her. She did not take a single drop more or taste a single ripe berry. Looking across the current, she saw an ulu, a knife with a carved ivory handle, lying on a flat rock. With her newfound strength, she lifted a tree trunk and set it over the stream. Then she claimed the knife. In the days that followed, she used the knife to make a bird spear, harpoon, and a bow and arrows for herself. She practiced throwing the spear and harpoon and shooting arrows until she became skilled at using these weapons. At the same time, she explored the island and discovered that it was a plentiful hunting ground, with ptarmigans and hares and seals that would sun themselves on the rocks. So she was able to provide plenty of food for herself. Then she made herself clothing, boots, and a cape of sealskin that she had scraped and stretched on the ground to dry. As the days grew cold, she even built a kayak. Sitting by herself in the warmth of her hut, over which she had packed dirt and which she filled with furs, she often dreamed of sailing home across the sea. She vowed to punish her brothers and her parents who had abandoned her so heartlessly. Ice began to form on the ponds and on the sea. Otoonah could no longer take her kayak out because the ice would pierce the skin cover. Snow fell and piled up against the hut. Winds began to howl across the island. But she had plenty of dried seal meat and fish. Inside the shelter it was warm, lit by the yellow flame of a lamp that she had carved from soapstone. The wick was made from moss. The basin was filled with oil from blubber that she had chewed to release the fuel. Several dried seal stomachs hung on the walls holding more oil. When the storms were at their worst and she was weathered in, the young woman sat on her bed platform covered with shrubs and skins and sang songs. Some she remembered her mother singing to her. Some she made up. Happy songs about summer warm, bitter songs about loneliness, or boastful songs that she would someday sing when she returned well-fed to mock her starving family. The long Arctic night arrived. At noon, the sun, too weary to climb above the horizon, spread a thin light of false dawn over the world, blanketed with snow and ice. Now the young woman hunted seals by finding one of their breathing holes in the icebound sea. She would pile up blocks of snow and sit motionlessly. When she heard a seal snort, she would instantly plunge her harpoon straight down, haul the unhappy creature onto the ice, and finish it off. In time, she recognized the promise of spring as the first rays of sunlight touched the highest peaks far inland. Although terrible cold still gripped the island, the coming of daylight made hunting easier. Soon, the ice mass covering the sea began to break apart into smaller floes. One day, approaching her favorite hunting area, the young woman heard human voices. At first, the sound alone startled her. She was even more astounded to discover that she knew those voices. Running forward, she met her brothers, who were just beaching their kayaks on the shore. At the sight of them, the young woman forgot all her thoughts of revenge. They, two men, raised their harpoons at the sight of this strange person running toward them. But they lowered them when they heard her call out, "Otoonah, Abarok, I am your sister. I am Otoonah." Hungry from the sound of human voices, she asked them many questions about her old home and her parents. But they merely shrugged and spoke a few words. They could only stare at the fine furs she wore and the glow of a well-fed, good health in her face. "What man has given you so much food and such fine furs?" her older brother demanded. Your husband must give us a portion of what he has," said her younger brother, "since he has married our sister." Angrily she said, "No man has given me anything. What I have been given by the old woman of the sea, who let me take some of the seals and fish in her keeping." "No such woman is a good hunter," said the older brother. Then they both laughed at her. "If you are such a hunter," Otoonah said, "I would challenge you to a hunt." "And I," Afro added. Angered by their laughter, the young woman said, "I accept your challenge." They waited until she had launched her own kayak. Then they zigzagged swiftly amid the ice floes. Soon each was lost to sight of the other. For the young woman, the hunting was good. By the time she returned, she had 2 seals lashed to the narrow deck of her kayak. As she rowed with her single paddle, which she held in the middle, dipping first right and then left, she sang a little song of thanksgiving to the old woman of the sea. Both her brothers returned much later, angry and empty-handed. She was already roasting some meat when they came to her hut. She invited them in to share her food and spend the night. She did not mock them, because she knew they were chewing on bitter defeat with every mouthful of her meat, even as she was savoring her victory. When they had finished eating, they did not thank her. They sat apart and whispered together. In the morning, she awoke and discovered that her brothers were gone. They also had stolen her ivory-handled ulu in the fish skin pouch that she had made for her, and most of her furs and meat. Running to the shore, she saw the 2 of them far out to sea. Angry at the second betrayal, she pursued them. She was stronger than either of them, and her boat was sturdier and swifter. Soon she overtook them. She shook her harpoon and cried, "Return what you have stolen, or I will gut your kayaks as I would a fish." The 2 were cowards and quickly surrendered the stolen goods. Then the young woman laughed at them. To the shame-faced men, it sounded as though her laughter had been picked up by the roaring wind. Soon the sky itself was roaring with dark laughter as a terrible storm arose. The young woman, her goods safely tied down, paddled quickly back toward the island through a heavy sea. She called to her brothers to come back with her, but they ignored her. Stubbornly, they paddled on into the heart of the storm. Soon she heard their calls for help, as loud and forlorn as Petrus' cries. But although she turned around and tried to find them, they had vanished beneath the waves. Barely escaping with her own life, she reached safe harbor. For a day and a night she huddled in her shelter until the wind blew itself out. When the storm subsided, the young woman took as much meat as she could carry. Then she rode across to her old village. There she found her parents grieving for their lost sons, and fearful they would soon starve with no one to provide for them. Their grief turned to amazement when they saw Otoonah, her arms laden with food, coming up the beach toward them. "Punek, daughter, have you come home?" her father asked. "I have come back because it is time for me to return," Otoonah said. "I will give you food from now on." So happy was she to be home that when she searched her heart, she found there was no wish to hurt her parents any longer. After this, she brought all her goods from the island and built herself a new hut, very close to the one which her parents lived. She soon proved herself the best hunter in the village. Then she was sought by many men, each of whom wanted her to become his wife. But she set her heart on one man, Apatasoke. However, he alone would have no part of her because she insisted on taking a man's role in the hunt. "A woman is supposed to take care of a hunter," he said, "and watch out for his clothes, no more. Still, I am determined to have you for my husband," Otoonah said, stubborn. "A girl does not take a husband of her own choosing. Her parents should seek a husband for her." Then he walked away before she could argue anymore. However, the following winter, when they were hunting near each other on the edge of the frozen sea, Apatasoke killed a seal. But while he was loading it on his sled, he discovered to his dismay that the scent of the kill had drawn a polar bear. Quick thinking, Otoonah cut the traces on her own sled dogs and sent them to harass the bear. Then, with a cry of encouragement to her fellow hunter, she charged behind them, brandishing her harpoon. The bear fought the dogs with its paws and teeth. 2 dogs were felled by crushing blows, but the beast could not move because the circling huskies would attack at every opening. The young man rushed forward, trying to spear the bear in the heart, but the bear turned sharply, its paw shattering the hunter's spear and tumbling the man into the snow. The angry bear turned toward the man to finish him off, but at that instant the young woman charged forward, putting all of her weight behind her harpoon. The weapon pierced the bear's heart, and it dropped on the spot. When the young man got to his feet and stared at the young woman standing beside the slain creature, he began to laugh. But the woman recognized that he was laughing because he was still alive, and because here was an unlooked-for supply of meat, and because he saw the foolishness of his refusal to marry a woman who hunted as well as any man. Soon, she was laughing too. When they returned to the village, they were wed, and the polar bear meat provided a marriage feast for their families and neighbors. Afterwards, they became a familiar sight as they hunted together, paddling their kayaks side by side. The end. Another great story. Wow. What can I say, right? Another great story cut from the same cloth, American Women of Myth, Legend, and Tall Tale by Robert DeSouci. One thing I want to say about this story, I could not find anything on Otoonah or Otoonah other than the pronunciation being Otoonah. I'm pretty sure the way it's spelled in the book is probably not the Sugpiaq spelling of it. So if you're a Sugpiaq or if you're Inuit and you know of this story and it's a different name, please send it my way so I can get that and I can, find another story. I may even re-record it, with the proper pronunciation. I try my best. I am not Inuit. Saying these words, saying a lot of words from languages that I don't know can be very hard, and I know I butchered them, and I apologize for that. But Otoonah is gangsta. That girl got put on an island by herself. She said, yo, alright, got it. Old man came in a dream. I don't know who the old man is. We ain't never get no closure on who the old man is, but whatever. Say, hey, go out there and get you a couple drinks of this water. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself refreshed a little bit. And I got something out there for you. You can use that. I ain't gonna tell you what it is. Just go out there, follow instructions. She did what she had to do. Got that ulu. And she put in the work. Bros came back. I know little sis ain't did all this. She proved she did it. And instead of saying, hey, sis, are bad, come on home, bros try to steal her stuff and run off. And she still went after him, called up with him like, yo, give me my stuff or it's done. She got her stuff and was still on something. You know what? Just come on back. I'm going to forgive you a third time. Because to me in her heart, I say a third time because in her heart, she forgave him the minute she saw them. And then after the whole thing, I felt like she forgave him again for doubting her. Then when they stole from her, she forgave him again. Three times, okay? 3 times. But, they want to be stubborn men, okay. Well, it is what it is. They gone. They dead. So what she do? She go back see mom and dad. Mom and dad like, damn, there go my baby. Because I don't care what you want. You always want your babies. You know what I'm saying? You always want your babies. This story took me in different ways. Because I'm like, me personally, and that tell me that Otoonah is a whole different level than I am. I'm over here cussing my mom and dad out on real talk. But I also want to know in the story why dad couldn't do no hunting. I understand mom, because mom's supposed to be at home taking care of the household. But dad, why you not doing no hunting? The boys is hunting, but why you not hunting? You know what? But, because me, as a dad, I'm going to do the hunting. You feel me? But hey. And I feel like Otoonah should have been like, you a weak man. But, you know what? They went low, she went high. That's all I can say. They went low, she went high on that. Then, oh boy, she like, okay, I like you and I want you. We can do this the easy way, the hard way. Dude want to do it the hard way. She had to show him, like, bro, you see I'm a good hunter? But had to show him like, hey, I literally killed a whole polar bear. And if you don't watch any shows on TV about living in Alaska or living somewhere in Canada and polar bears coming in, surviving polar bears, understand, if a polar bear comes at you, you are more than likely dead. Okay? Just want you to know this. If a polar bear comes at you, you are more than likely dead. You normally not surviving a polar bear attack. Just so you know this. She killed one. Bruh said, hey, I got to marry her now. I got to do it. She killing polar bears. I got to do it. And I'm sitting here like, if I was Otoonah, I wouldn't even marry them. I wouldn't have done it. But that's just me, though. Because you ain't going to doubt my skills, and then when I show you my skills, all of a sudden you want to be up on me and everything. No. But whatever. Anyway. Again, obviously I love the story. I love Otoonah. I love the underdog tale. Oh my God. If you're Inuit or you're Sugpiaq, please give me some more stories. I need more stories because y'all got some gangster stories, okay? Fighting polar bears and everything. God. Anyway, thank you for coming along on this journey with me. And before anybody, let me say this one. I am not Inuit. I am a black man in America. And I am telling an Inuit, a female Inuit Sugpiaq story. And understand, I love it. So, I'm not saying this like, I'm not telling the story as in this is my people, but I'm telling this story because it is a story that I have not heard, I have not seen, I cannot find anywhere. And that is wrong, and you deserve to have your stories told. You deserve to have your stories shared. Okay? So, again, thank you for coming along this journey. And until next time, go see Chef. He has a great Inuit recipe for you. And have a blessed day. Welcome, my friends, to the galley. I am your chef, and today we have a wonderful recipe inspired by the story you have just heard. Today, we will be creating Coastal Akutaq. Now, what will you need for this very interesting recipe? 1 cup solid vegetable shortening, or Crisco. 1 cup of sugar, half a cup of water, berry juice, or 2 cups of loose snow, 4 cups of berries, whichever berries you choose, such as blueberries, cloudberries, cranberries, salmon berries, or blackberries. Now, how do we put this together? Easy. First, you will cream together the shortening and sugar. Then, mix in the berry juice, water, or snow. Now, you can fold in the berries 1 cup at a time, by hand. Then, place in the freezer for it to firm up. And once it does, that is it, my friends. Now, go. Make this recipe yours. And until I have another wonderful recipe for you, please remember the story of Otoonah and her journey. Until next time, my friends, as always, enjoy. Thank you, my friends, for coming on this voyage. Thanks to Art by Chalet for the logo, episode, and shirt designs. You can get t-shirts and other items on tpublic.com. You can contact me on all socials at AfroTalesCast. That's AfroTalesCast. And email me at AfroTalesCast@gmail.com. You may also become a benefactor by simply sharing with any and everyone, giving a thumbs up, a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app of choice, or simply donating on Patreon or coffee.com. That's ko-fi.com. So until we meet again, may your winds be fair and your seas follow.